Almost every week there is a device that seems to be going viral, from LED masks to RF technology to microcurrent devices to microneedling. But what most people don't realize is that some of those trends might actually be accelerating aging. I've spent nearly 3 decades in the beauty industry as a specialized skincare expert, and I've gotten to see hundreds of devices, and I'm here to tell you what works and what doesn't. So today we're cutting through the noise. I'll explain my top technologies for 2025, explain which ones will truly make an impact and are worth investing in, and then which ones will have to go in the trash. And because new products are being launched every day, I will show you where you can find my pre-vetted products that are being added every single day. Stay with me, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what devices will truly benefit your skin. It seems these days as if skin is being treated as an accessory. It's this topical thing that you get to play with and color, almost treated like hair. Skin is very different. Skin is an extension of your health. And so is hair, by the way. When we talk about aging, we're talking about cellular decline, loss of energy, slower collagen production, increased inflammation, and weakened barrier. So we have to consider all of those when we are considering new skincare tools. We can't just be going for those that are going to be buffing, exfoliating, and attacking the top of the skin that most often cause a lot of damage underneath. So the best skin tools are ones that support your biology, support your cellular energy, improve circulation, which is blood flow to the surface, bringing nutrients, but most importantly, without causing long-term damage. And that's the difference between the functional beauty approach and mainstream approach. I focus on tools that restore function versus those that cause trauma. They're telling us that you have to cause all this trauma so that your skin can heal and repair, and it does that by producing collagen. Well, that's a very narrow-minded way of looking at improving skin. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Nadia, your guide to better skin naturally without intervention. And I mean interventions that damage your skin. I founded thebeautydoctrine.com, where I curate the very best products that I can get my hands on, and also very soon launching the Beauty Doctrine reviews. So you don't have to keep looking for my videos to find my opinion on a certain product. You can go straight to thebeautydoctrinereviews.com and you'll find products that I've rated not only based on toxicity levels, their effect on your hormones and your health, but also on sensitivity potential, which everyone in the beauty industry has ignored. Everybody now is going in this direction of natural, but they're forgetting that a lot of natural and clean products and ingredients are utterly damaging for your skin barrier. So the beautydoctrinereviews.com takes that into account, so you can have that resilient, firm, and glowing skin for the long term, not just for the next few weeks. Let's start with red light therapy, my absolute favorite modality for longevity, for age reversal, for brightening your skin, increasing hydration, firming, boosting collagen, you name it. And I'm not making this up. This is backed by hundreds of studies. It is a known fact. Red and near infrared lights work deeper within the dermis at certain nanometers, so between 630 to 660, to go deep into the dermis, and the near infrared goes deeper than that into our tissues, into the joints, to not only you're boosting collagen, of course, to firm, boost circulation, boost collagen production, but also reduce inflammation and increase healing. Red light reaches your mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, triggering that ATP, which is the energy currency of your cells. And believe me, you want that. So the more energized your cells are, the higher the function, the younger you are, because aging, after all, is just slowing down of all body functions. But don't run to Amazon just yet to pick up a red light device, because many of them that have flooded the market can cause a lot of sensitivity. It can also cause hyperpigmentation. Many are cheaply made and they don't have the right wavelengths, or they are too powerful and can cause damage. What I've also noticed is that a lot of manufacturers just make up bogus claims on the packaging or add advice on how to use it, not knowing skin at all. They're just trying to sell you a device. So they'll say things like, this device will enhance the penetration of your skincare products, so go ahead and apply your skincare and then follow with red light therapy. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that you could make. So I'm going to explain not only the best devices, what to look for, but also how to use that red light safely for that long-term benefit and long-term results. Now, let's talk about devices. So there are devices that are removed from the face. So for example, the conjure panel, you can hold it at a distance. You're still getting a very, very powerful dose of light. It's also really versatile. So you can use it on your chest, you can use it on your hands, anywhere. For hair growth, you name it, there's that versatility. Now, there is the wearable mask, and these are silicone masks. A lot of them are high quality. These you have to wear and they're touching the skin. Hence, the output of these masks is much lower, much weaker, justifiably so. We don't want it to be as strong as the panel because this is touching your face. This is great. My preference is a panel, of course, a high quality one that meets all of the criteria, and I'll talk about that. So if you're looking to select between the panel and the mask and you're really leaning towards the mask, just make sure you're not someone that is suffering or susceptible to hyperpigmentation. And don't overdo it. A lot of people get really excited about the improvements that they start seeing in their skin and they overdo it. Hence, they start seeing that pigmentation show up. So before we start talking about how to use light therapy properly, I wanted to quickly go over the devices and how to select the right one. So the Conjo, the one that I just showed, which you'll find on my website, thebeautydoctrine.com, that happened to be my favorite. I selected it after having tried so many devices over the years, many more than what I'm holding right here, and from the research and then the feedback of my clients. So again, people that gave me feedback that they had pigmentation, 100% of the time, they either overused their panels, used them too close, day and night, they just got too excited, or they were using the wearable masks. Again, I don't like the fact that they are touching the skin. So there's that susceptibility to promote hyperpigmentation if you are prone, and especially if that device emits any type of heat. So the first warning I would say here is if you feel heat from your device, turn it off. Do not use it. Back to my favorite category, panels. Conjo is going to be at the top of the list for so many reasons. It is very affordable, actually the most affordable panel on the market. Most panels that are this size, they start at $300 to $400. This one is $130. And of course, you can find it on my website, thebeautydoctrine.com. Now, here's a panel that I used for years. Actually, before I came across Conjo, I've used this one. It closes like a book. It's called Revive. This has different lights in it. So you have red light, you have amber light, and you have blue light. And then there's a setting that's purple, which is a blend of red and blue. Okay, so we'll break it all down. So first, this is almost $400, so definitely a bit pricier, but I still have some clients that I recommend the Revive panel for, and those are the clients that have more than just one concern. So red light is going to be phenomenal for reducing inflammation, increasing circulation to the surface, increasing hydration, glow, firming the skin, boosting that mitochondria, boosting collagen, and so on. So it does all of that. So let's just call it anti-aging. Now, when you go for a, let's say, blue light, that's really great for healing acne or certain skin conditions. For me personally, this actually was my very first panel, and that's because I used to suffer from perioral dermatitis. And so those are little bumps that flare up around the mouth. And so 3 treatments, literally 3 blue light treatments got rid of that for me. And so that's when I became really hooked on light therapy overall. So if you have acne or if you have perioral dermatitis, definitely invest in a panel that can provide you both lights. So it's either the red or the blue or a blend of the two if you want to have just one treatment. This requires about 3 minutes treatment. Conjo requires about 5 minutes treatments. I like 3 to 5 treatments a week maximum. So when I was trying to reverse aging, I've shared my photos before. When I was 43 years old, I'm 48 now, I had a lot of sagging in my skin, and I was able to reverse aging, reverse that sagging in about 2 months. So I was very consistent using my panel 5 days a week for about 2 months. And then I maintained after that, even with once or twice a week was plenty. I went, there were periods of time where I went for weeks without doing any red light. And then when I start noticing wrinkling again or sagging or loss of elasticity, I'll become a lot more consistent with it. So what I'm trying to say here is you don't have to do it 5 days a week forever. You can start depending on what your concerns are, the level of aging that you have in your skin. You can start with that 5 days a week, and once you achieve your optimal results, then you can scale back to maintenance mode. And again, once to twice a week is plenty for maintenance. If you're not ready to splurge, let's say, on the $400 device or Conjo, there are a lot of handheld devices, although this actually is about the same price as Conjo. It's over $100 for sure. So these are smaller devices that you can buy either in red or blue. Only thing is you have to use it much longer. So if you decide to go with a smaller device, so you'd have to hold it, let's say, on this area for 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and so on, versus when you're holding a larger device that's going to cover, your entire face, décolletage, and even your hairline for hair growth. It'll cover it in just one session of either 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And you'll see that this switches over. When I hit it, it switches over to purple. So now it's the blend of red and blue. If you're doing this, if you're going with any type of purple or blue light, you must wear goggles because blue light is not safe for your eyes. Versus if you're using red light, you just close your eyes and you let your eyelids benefit from the anti-aging effects of the red light. And then you have these devices that pretty much promise everything. So this gives you some vibrations, which are really good. So motion, anytime you're massaging the face, you're doing microcurrent or any type of stimulation, that's really, really good for blood flow and for tightening. So this tends to blend all of that. And so it promises you age reversal in about 5 minutes a day. I don't treat this as my go-to device because imagine the contact with one area of the face is very minimal. If I was going to do 5 minutes, that's not enough because I have to move on to other areas. And so this is, to me, I like it. It has microcurrent, it has red light, and again, I feel that vibration. But I treat this as my weekend or travel device where I don't want to be lugging my microcurrent device and my red light and so on. This is really great just to do something rather than nothing. It's also a really good gift. So before we move on to the next modality, I know I promised you to go over safety of these products. I always recommend that you use them on clean face. So not freshly exfoliated. So you don't want to go and do your microdermabrasion or your peel or your mask, anything that's exfoliating. Don't do that right before the light therapy because those types of treatments sensitize your skin. And so when your skin is sensitive, it becomes so much more prone to reacting with any source of energy, whether it's the sun or if it's red light therapy. So no exfoliation the day that you're going to do red light therapy, and no skincare. This goes against a lot of advice that you find on manufacturers' boxes, but most people don't realize that a lot of skincare today has alpha hydroxy acids and enzymes, things that will interact with that energy source and may cause issues. So the safest way is to just cleanse your face gently with maybe a cream cleanser in the morning, pat dry your face, hold your red light panel preferably for your 3 to 5 minutes, and then you put it away and you move on to your skincare routine. The next modality is micro and nano current tools. So the top selling ones on the market are NuFace and ZIIP. In a nutshell, these devices deliver nano and microcurrents to your cells, mimicking your skin's natural bioelectricity. And that's so important because that increases cell communication, essential for regeneration, increased hydration, increased tone, and also strengthening of facial muscles. And just like red light, they increase ATP, which is that energy in our mitochondria. I think of these as a non-invasive facial workout that tones and lifts the skin without inflammation or trauma. So you're enhancing your natural repair system without inflicting trauma on the skin from so many popular devices, and I will name some of them next. I have a detailed video that kind of breaks down both NuFace and ZIIP, but the summary of it all is that I really like the ZIIP because it's nano and microcurrent. It feels a lot more gentle. It works on a skin level as well as on a muscle level. Versus microcurrent, this I find it to be a little bit stronger, so I always get that like electric shock when I use it. So a lot more powerful, and it works deeper at a muscle level. So you're gonna get benefits from both. But I always like a more gentle approach that does not hurt, and ZIIP delivers that. Also worth noting that I am very sensitive, and I had a reaction to the NuFace gel versus the ZIIP gels. They have a lot of different ones. I love the gold one, but the one I'm holding right here is the electrical complex conductive gel. By the way, you must use a conductive gel. Absolutely no oil on your face when you are getting these nano or microcurrent treatments. But ZIIP tends to make a good variety of gels that also deliver anti-aging ingredients. And the last thing I'll say on this is that you got to be consistent. So anytime I see a bad review about microcurrent is when someone purchases it and then 3 days later they're like, it didn't do anything for me. Now, the next device is not high tech, and it is gua sha. I love gua sha. I've accumulated so many. I have body gua sha, which I use almost every day. Amazing to smooth that cellulite, to help with circulation, lymphatic drainage, and so on. And of course, facial gua sha. There are so many different ones that you can use on the market. As long as you are using it correctly, then you are good. Gua sha is so beneficial in helping promote blood circulation, bringing nutrients to the skin. So if you want that glass skin, if you want that glow, you better start doing gua sha. So I find myself on days when I don't have too much time, I just massage my skin with my fingers as I am applying my skincare product. So those were all the tools that I very confidently recommend to pretty much all of my clients without a second thought. I feel very, very confident about them. As long as you use them correctly, you should be good to go. Now there's a device that I recommend, but with an asterisk, with a lot of caution, and that is RF, so radio frequency. So with radio frequency, you have these little metal heads that actually deliver heat. And so this promises toning and firming of the skin and production of collagen. However, with the production of collagen, you could also be melting fat. So that's where a lot of practitioners miss the mark when they recommend these RF therapies, because most of them are just solely and narrowly focused on collagen production, forgetting that there are other structures that you absolutely have to support that maintain that tone in the skin and that plumpness. And those structures are fat pads, your muscle, as well as the bone. And so in this case, RF, or repeatedly exposing your face to heat therapy, can melt that fat underneath, and that's really hard to regrow. You can't really regrow fat unless you gain weight, but a lot of times you gain it and it's already separated it. And you don't want to be gaining weight all over your body just in hopes that you restore facial fat, because it's just a gamble. It's not guaranteed. So the only instance when I recommend RF therapy is for the jowls. So that is fat I don't mind parting with. I would never touch my cheekbones, for example, or forehead. So any of the upper part of the face, I want to maintain as much volume as possible, but these lower parts that start sagging when you have those fat pads that kind of move down with gravity, with our muscles on the neck kind of pulling down on them, they end up right here. Those I don't mind targeting with some heat. So that's the only way that I personally use RF, is just along the jawline. Now, before we move into the devices that do not align with functional beauty, and those are the ones that can cause some trauma and a lot of side effects on the skin, a quick reminder. You can find in-depth reviews about these devices that I covered and so many more, as well as skincare, on my new website, the beautydoctrinreviews.com. So you don't even have to look out for these videos. You can just go there and find your favorite product. If you don't find your favorite product, still find ones that you've used and leave your own comments. So there are sections where you can leave your own review for any products that you've used in the past, and that platform is supposed to be there to help everyone make informed decisions. So you'll get my review, my viewpoint, but please feel free to add yours to products that you've used and request reviews of products I have not gotten to yet. My team and I are working diligently to add new products every single day, but if there's one that you want us to prioritize, to vet for you, just let me know in the comments below and I will prioritize it. Now, let's talk about products that are ubiquitous. Everybody seems to be using them, but I caution very strongly about why. Not because I'm guessing this. I do consultations on a daily basis with consumers, and these are the devices that have damaged many people's skin. The first one is microneedling pens and rollers, especially when you get them heated. So when you go get RF microneedles, that can have a damaging effect on your skin. Just know anytime you are exposing your skin to heat, you are promoting aging. So you can still be promoting that collagen, but at the cost of tissue damage and the destruction of other structures like facial fat. Even not heated, when you are puncturing the face with needles, causing controlled injury in hopes that you produce collagen, you can have uneven collagen production. You're also creating micro scars. So the first few treatments you're getting, you might still look really smooth, but as you continue going back for those treatments and creating that collagen, you're also creating scars that accumulate over time. Your skin might look bumpy. You can also damage your lipid barrier. I've seen this way too many times. The next device that I don't recommend is the cheap plastic red light therapy masks. You'll see those all over Amazon. The market is pretty much flooded with them, and many of them can give you uneven results. They heat up. A lot of them are really cheaply made. They don't have the right wavelengths, so I caution against them. I wouldn't recommend cheapening out on an energy device. The next category of devices that I highly caution against are microdermabrasion, especially when done at home. I understand if maybe you have a wedding coming up and you have pigmentation or uneven texture, and maybe once in a lifetime or twice you want to get that microdermabrasion, and that is only if your skin can tolerate it. You need to be going to a practitioner to get that done. And then you have these devices that are all over the market now that everybody's getting, and they end up with problematic skin. I don't advise them. You might be wondering why I have one in a box. This was gifted to me probably 4 years ago, and I never even opened it. It just sat there. I actually felt bad that I accepted the gift, but it's been sitting here. I didn't want to gift it to someone because it's not something that I would recommend to anybody, so it's just been sitting here. Our skin is an organ. It's delicate, so much more delicate than we think, and we do not need to be scratching it on the surface. So anytime you have these microderms or any powerful scrubs, anything granular, anything physical, we want to try and avoid. When I want to use something physical that's non-abrasive, I use a tool like this, which just gives you that vibration. So you feel really clean. So you can go with just the one side that's kind of smoother, just to increase circulation on the skin, or you can go with the side that's kind of silicone, it's super soft. So if you want to have that deeper cleansing for your skin, a couple times a week, you can do that, but without scratching the surface. So this is my alternative tool for those that are used to using something physical on their skin. Maybe switch off to something like this. It's just a vibrating tool. I will go ahead and drop a link for you in the description below. So I just want to share something real quick. I come from the beauty industry. I've been doing this since I was 19 years old and I'm 48 years old now. I've seen all the campaigns being put together. I've seen all the plans for launches. The beauty industry thrives on newness. That's how it continues to grow and continues to make money. And it makes money off of just false hope most of the time. And so with these trends now that are popping up and just going viral in this new age of social media, I know so many of you feel like they're missing out. Every day I get questions about what about this device and what about this device, because you see all these seemingly authentic reviews online and you're like, okay, I'm missing out. I really want that because I want that result. Very often those results are manipulated, and also very often a lot of these are overinflated, or the person went and got Botox or some other treatment to create that after effect so that the video can go viral and they get lots and lots of commissions from those brands that sponsor them. My hope is to continue to remain completely independent, not accept sponsorships. We turn down dozens every single month. I founded the Beauty Doctrine to be your guide to better skin naturally and bring you unbiased advice every day. It would mean the world if you supported this channel by sharing my videos, considering becoming a paid member. All you need to do is click join under this video, or even better, become a paid VIP insider on thebeautydoctrine.com. Your purchases, your support, and spreading the word means the world to me. It would also help me fund rating thousands and thousands of products on the beautydoctrinereviews.com so that you have true guidance on your beauty purchases. Your skin health is my ultimate goal, and until the next video, be well, be safe, be beautiful, take care.